It is my pleasure to introduce our former and our next congressman who will put an end to the radical left's agenda in D.C. Please help me welcome my friend, my mentor, Bruce Poliquin, back to the family.
You know, every time I go to a microphone, someone's got to put the mic lower. You know I'm a French-Canadian Catholic, Paul, but that's just not fair. You know, I look at this great barn, look at this, right? You know what goes through my mind? You know what I'm thinking? This was a bumper crop. That's what this was, right? But it's great to be here. I appreciate it very much. For those of you who don't know me, I am often referred to as Paul LePage's warm-up band. We were at a Lewiston event last week, and just because we're both in the fight along with these other great candidates, we often are together a couple times a week. And I get there early to make sure that I say hello to everybody. So all of a sudden, after about 15 minutes, I hear this roar. I said, well, that means everyone has met me, and they're all thrilled about giving me a cheer on before we start. No, it's because LePage walked in the door. But in any event, it's great to be here. I really appreciate it. Sue and Jay, thank you very much. I appreciate this. You didn't have to open up your home like this to us, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. But yes, it is a bumper crop, and everybody knows it, and that's good. You know, I got an idea for everybody. You know, Republicans have so much fun, Donnie, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, even though the Democrats make us miserable, we still find a way in to have fun. So I got an idea. Jared Golden votes 87% of the time with Joe Biden, right? We know that, right? 87% of the time. So I got an idea. Let's ask Jared to invite Joe Biden to come up and campaign with him. Can you imagine Joe Biden in the county? They probably have the rally in Canada, right? I mean, in Canada, they love high gas prices. They love high diesel prices, heating oil prices. You know, they could get over the border pretty easy. They wouldn't be able to get back in, so they'd have to go through Mexico, but that's wide open, right? So that's what Golden ought to do, and I really think he should. I really do. You know, John, speaking about the border, which has been wide open for 2 years. Now, think of this for a minute. This is an international border with Mexico. I've been to visit. I went down there in January, met with the Border Patrol agents. Has Jared Golden ever been to the border? Not that I know of. If he went down there, he would learn that 70% of our agents are not guarding the border. They're pushing paper. And as a result, we're flying folks down from our Canadian border down to the Mexico border to help them out, and we're less protected up here. Let me tell you, when you have that lack of common sense, you don't deserve to be in Congress. I'm sorry, he does not deserve to be in Congress. Oh, by the way, if you hadn't heard this, and I know the media's here, and thank you very much for this, just to make sure we get this clear. In August, Mr. Golden voted for that last monstrosity, the most recent monstrosity, I call it the Higher Inflation Act. They call it the Inflation Reduction Act. Of course, it's going to increase inflation. It's a package full of spending and taxes. And oh, by the way, you know what else is in there? 87,000 new IRS employees. Can you imagine that? Most of the money in this country is with the middle class, of course. But I got great news for you. Once we win this thing, and we're in a new American majority, a common sense majority, Republicans, Democrats, you name it down there in Washington, first thing we're going to do after we get sworn in, we're going to defund 87,000 IRS agents. You know, have you noticed that we've only had one debate in this campaign, Paul? Paul's had about 100, right? We've had one. Jared Golden has chickened out of the last two, including here at AGM. Well, and we don't see him anywhere. Tomorrow we're going to be at the Ashland Mill, the Irving Mill in Ashland. Then we're going up to Madawaska. Then we're going to be over at the Huber Mill. We're everywhere because that's your job. If you're running for an office and you want the public to put trust in you, it is your responsibility to go out and make your case to the public. But you know, what has Jared Golden got to sell? Hi, I'm Jared Golden. Vote for me. How do you like the highest inflation in 40 years? How do you like our open border with fentanyl coming in, killing our kids? And by the way, isn't it great to have $6 a gallon heating oil? That's what he's got to sell. Of course he's hiding. He's in the basement, same way Biden did it. Don't let him fool you. Jared Golden is not a moderate. Anybody who votes to allow abortion up until birth, paid by taxpayer dollars, is not a moderate.
That's right.
Okay? I want to make sure this is clear. Now we got to make a change, and everybody knows it. Folks come to me and they said, today when I had an interview on WAGM, they said, Bruce, when are we going to start bringing down this inflation? Well, we need to start on November 8. We get sworn in early January, and then what we're going to use is the budget process, because the power of the purse is with the House. We're going to put massive pressure on the White House to reopen our supplies of heating oil, gasoline, and diesel. Anybody who's ever run a small business, you increase the supply, you drive down the price. It's common sense. Oh, but I forgot to tell you, there's no common sense in Washington anymore. We all know that. You know, it was Ronald Reagan, right, Craig? Remember Ronald Reagan? He was the best. President Reagan asked this of, who was it, Paul? With Jimmy Carter. It must have been Jimmy Carter. Asked this, right? 50 years ago, whatever it was, 40 years ago. Are you better off today or a few years ago? So I'm going to make it really self-serving, Emily. Okay, I'm just going to tell you the way I see it. A few years ago, when I was serving, we had the strongest economy in 50 years. We had the lowest unemployment rate ever recorded in the state of Maine. We were not paying people not to work for the most part. And we did it almost with no inflation. So today, we have seniors on fixed income that have to make a choice. Do you buy groceries? Do you stay warm? Do you put gas in your tank? Can you pay your electric bills? We are setting record overdose deaths here in the state of Maine because of fentanyl. We have a border that is wide open, and we have several million people that are here now that we must care for. Have you noticed a lot of our hotels in Maine? They're not, for the most part, putting in homeless veterans or teenagers in shelters. But we have folks, many of whom have come here illegally, and we need to take care of. You know, I make no apologies. I'm all about America and Maine first. Always. Always. Now it's really important for Trey to win, and Donnie and Sue and Tracy, everybody who's running to win. Because when Governor LePage becomes our governor again, he needs to have a majority in the legislature. So he's just not vetoing, he's getting things done. Paul and I are good friends. We're both Central Maine business guys. We've come out of semi-retirement to do this because we love our country, we love our state, we love the county, and we know we're in trouble. We know how to fix this. Together, we're great partners with you. We cannot do this without you. And I'm going to leave you with one thing that you all know intuitively, but you might not spend a lot of time on. When they lie about Paul or they lie about me on TV, we're human beings. It affects us, but we're running through the tape. We know it's not true. And when folks walk by their TV these next 2 weeks and they're so sick and tired of these commercials and they mute it, guess what really matters? One-on-one conversations with the people you work with, you go to church with, you hunt with, your family members, your neighbors. It's these one-on-one conversations that are worth more than anything. God bless you all. I love the county. I love the people of Maine. I love America, and I'm proud to be a Republican. God